will record the class. And I'll say today we will be talking list in Python. And why do we require a list? List is very, very important because we have talked about variables initially. And I know most of us understand, those who have been in class understand what is a variable. But you find that if I'm to declare a variable like A and give it a value like 5, initialize a value like 5, it is limited. It is limited such that it can only be assigned to only one value. But when you use listing, listing comes in when you have different variables. So a list can hold different variables. These different variables can be having different data types. Remember us talking about data types? Data types. A data type is something like a string. A string, you remember me talking about string, and in most cases the string will always be under this quota. Whatever you put inside there is the string, that is the string. Another type of data type, because of those who are new in the class, another type of data type is integer. We said that an integer is a whole number, so it can be something like that, 3. Another one is a float. They said a float can be something like this one that has a decimal place in it. A list will be able to have all those. A list will be able to have all those data types in one. So we are saying that if it is a variable, a normal variable like this one, will be limited because it can only hold one data. But when you talk of a list will hold different data like this. You can have, I'll have a list like this one, and then we see how it holds the data. I can have a list. Let me just first of all use the word list. It can have, we normally, a list will normally be denoted by square bracket. Then inside there, I can put first something like call, that is a string. I can even have another one. I put it 3. This one is a string. This is an integer. I can have another one which is a string. I call it code. Just giving it name. But we do not use like we are using here variables. We can call this, we can give this as name of mountain. Can say like something like that, so that we can have something like Kilimanjaro, another one, Mount Kenya, another mountain, Rwenzori Mountain, Rwenzori, I think like that, I can't remember well. Another one is, which other mountain? Just say mountain like that. So you can see this one, this is a variable called name of mountain, but this variable, we do not, okay, although it is a variable, we call it a list. Why is it a list? Because it is carrying multiple elements. Actually, whatever is inside here, these are called elements. It is carrying multiple elements. Because next week we will start talking of OPP, object-oriented programming. Object-oriented programming is very, very important because of using codes. Because of using code, and one way of using code, we will be using functions. We will be using functions. I have talked about these functions. And we say that there are inbuilt functions like print. Print is an inbuilt function. Huh? How do you know it is a function? Because of these parentheses or these brackets. Inside here you can enter your argument, and then it will be shown on the console. Now that is an inbuilt function. If you want to declare your own function, you normally use def, and then you give the function a name. You can call it car. Then you can talk about maybe car and Toyota. So this is a function that has been declared, and its argument is Toyota. I think that one is very clear with us. But what was very important for us today is to master what we call listing. I think that is okay. Then you have talked about functions, and you have seen how you declare a function. Huh? Why function? I have talked about OPP, and I will say that next week we will dive deeper in OPP. OPP is very important because of data encapsulation and also the using of codes. You want to reuse your code. You do not want to write each and every code. Then the purpose of OPP is to speed up your work when it comes in coding. Remember, one of the resources that is not available to most programmers is time, because you will find that programmers will have a lot of time, will have a lot of projects. Then the project that they have been given, they are required to tackle them within a certain period of time, which they do not have that time. Now, I will want us to proceed. Let's proceed from where we always do. That is what I always do. I always start my editor like that. For this class or for these classes we have been using. Okay, before that, there is something else that I also want to talk about before we proceed. I hope time will allow me today. I hope time will allow me today to do that. Blocking or blocks. When I talk of block, I'm talking of things like conditional statement. Conditional statement. When I talk of conditional statement, I'm talking of things like if something else. If I'm not 18 years, so else I'm what? I'm an adult. So here we are testing two things because of the value that you will provide, like 18 years. If I'm greater than 18 years, then I'm an adult. But if I'm from 0 to 18 years, then I'm a young person or a kid. Maybe that is how you come up with conditional statement. The next thing that I want us to tackle, if time will allow us today, is loop or looping. Don't know if you guys know what is looping. Looping simply means repeating. It is something that you want to be repeated several times. Repeating, yeah? That is what you call looping. It is something maybe you want to be repeated several times. Maybe a list of values. That list of values need to be repeated several times. In that case, we use a loop. Another thing that we use is while loop. This is a more complex one. A while loop will learn. This one is different. This repeat if the condition is true. If the condition is true, it will always work. This one will stop. It will stop executing the code. It will stop executing the code if the condition is false. That's the difference between else, and while loop. I think that is it. Now I can start the class. I said that today the major focus on we will majorly focus on this thing. Then maybe we'll have a session of questions and we can proceed. We had tackled this together sometimes back. I don't know if it is it. No, we have not. Yeah, like you remember when we worked on these fruits, these were different variables that we declared. So today I want to put all these variables in one using a list. So I will call it, let me create a new one. List fruits.py. That's the name. That is the name of our file. The name of our file is list.py, and you know why we call it .py, because it is a Python file. So I will proceed and declare a list here, and I will call it fruit or fruits, like that, and say equals. We say that the listing or list should always have a what? Should always have a square bracket. Then the first one is apple or apple. Then you separate it with a comma. You add double quote. The next one is banana, like that. You separate it with a comma. Open double quote and call it orange. Another fruit that I want to use is cherry. So you can see the power of listing. It is able to carry like 1, 2, 3, 4. It is able to carry like 4 different variables at once. It's very, very important when it comes to coding. Then after that, let's use a for loop, because I've tackled looping today. For fruit, I'll call fruit in variable list fruits, the one that is up there, fruits, like that. Then after that, we need to move down and print. Remember I said we talked about indentation. Indentation is very, very key when it comes to Python. Other programming languages do not use indentation, but Python is very key to indentation. So when you're writing the next thing, when you want to print the next thing, if you're using this loop, you have to come, you do not start there. You have to move one tab, then say print function, and I want to print fruit. And our code is done. Let's see. Oh, somebody required to see it larger like that. I hope you can be able to see it now very well, the way it is. Are we together? Someone talk to me. Tuko pamoja?
Yes, we are together.
Okay, let's proceed. Now from there we'll always test. And I will test by having this one here. Let me just keep this one. Yeah, there. And say Python. You have to call Python first. Python. The name of the file is list_fruits.py. And you can see them how they have been listed, one after another. Why are we doing these things? In real life application of Python, you might want to list some elements like that. And that is a way of doing it. So we have, for the first few weeks or the first few days, we will be tackling this introduction part of it. Then we will apply this one in a real life situation. Like the first thing that we will do together with you, we will create a board. I don't, you know, these boards that are used for WhatsApp, for Telegrams, that are used for crawling on the website. We'll create one, and then we can put it on our WhatsApp group and see if it will be working. That one is it is a complex one, but by the end of the day or by the end of the lesson, we will be able to do that. Another way to test this one, I will want to maximize. I will want to maximize my screen. You write Python space list underscore fruits, if I'm not wrong, .py. It is the same, and you can see it. It has been presented. It is the way I wanted it to be. If there is no question, I need to move to one new thing very quickly. Anyone with a question before I proceed to a new thing? And today I forgot to introduce some of the new members. Maybe after I'm done doing what you're doing, they are going to introduce them, because I can see some new faces. It's good to know each other. I know we are going to do that. Now let's proceed. We are going to do another code, a very simple one. Maybe this one will be the last one. Or yeah, let's do another one, then we can decide if it will be the last one or we do several other as time, if the time will allow us. So another one that we are going to use while loop, and I'll call it looping.py, and I'm going to use count, and I'm going to start counting from 0. Then after I count, a while loop, I'm going to use a while loop and say count, while loop count is less, this one means what? Is less than what? Is this less than or greater than? Is less than 5. Then I say print count, and then count. This one simply means increment, and we are going to increment every time by 1. So it is going to repeat each and every time by 1. Let's see the effect of that. I'm going to run the code. Now, let me run the code. Let me kill this. Let me start again. Wow. Let me cross this one. Yeah. And I want to run. Yeah, I want to run this one. It is Python looping.py, like that. And you can see we are starting from which number? 0. So we start from 0, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you can see there are 5 because you said it will only count up to what? Up to 5. Because you have said, well, count is greater than 5. We can change this one. You can change this one and say count until there are, how many times? Let's call it 100 times. And I'm going to test it on a different application. Okay, I'm going to test it on this one. I'm going to test it on here. We said it is Python. The name of the file is looping.py. And you can notice that it has added to 99. Why to 99? Because we have what? We are starting from you're starting from 0, and that looping is working. You will find that this looping is very, very important. Actually, there is no alive program that does not use this block of statement. This block of statement. For better understanding, I would want to reduce this one to 10, and then start from 9, and then start from 1. And let's see the effect. You will allow me to come here and use this one again. So this start from 0 and 1, and we wanted when it is less than what? Less than 10, and you can see to take us up to 9. You count these numbers or indices, they're 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hey, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, yeah, they're 9 because you're starting from what? You're starting from 1 to what? 1 to 10. Huh? Let me confirm. Yeah. I hope that one is very clear. You are able to come up with something like that. I would stop the class there because I also want some of us to see if you have mastered what you have done. Thank you, guys. Let me stop.